Good evening, everybody. Welcome to all of you. I really hope that this is a topic that you are keen to know more about. And I also would like us to discuss at the end. So I'm going to be quite fast, if you don't mind. And that is so that we can have time for a discussion. Welcome to a discussion on health of the colon. And as an introduction, your body is the house in which you live. Your home needs, at the very least, periodic attention. Every function and activity of your system, day and night, physical, mental, and spiritual, is dependent on the attention you give it. I found that so true, so awesome, that we just need to remember that all the time. So Hippocrates is known as the father of modern medicine, but he lived in ancient Greece. He was born in 460 BC. That is a long time ago. And this is what he said. These are some quotes of his. Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. And then he said, walking is man's best medicine. He's also known to have said it is far more important to know, what person the disease has than what disease the person has. I want you to think about that one, okay? And then the next one is, before you heal someone, ask him or her if he is willing to give up the things that make him sick. I found that one so profound. And then the one that I use very often, all disease begins in the gut. And that's what we are discussing today, the importance of gut health or a healthy colon. So what is elimination? Elimination of waste products is one of the most vital functions of a living organisms. It is known that cells live longer without food, without nutrients, than they can live in accumulated waste products. That kills them faster. And then our health is dependent not only upon intake of proper nutrients, but also the efficient elimination of waste. That's why we are talking about it today. And then problems with elimination cause a degree of suffering and discomfort unmatched by virtually anything else. And the tragedy is that most of this agony is avoidable with a few simple changes in diet or simple supplementation. And so in this series that we have on Thursday called Applied Neolife or Teen Training Thursday, today I thought I would talk about elimination because we are going into that season where people go on holiday, celebrate, have festivities, hopefully, the Christmas season. And people tend to forget that a lot of problems can happen. So I want to talk specifically about constipation, which is described as infrequent elimination and straining at stool. This sets the stage for other health problems, such as varicose veins. Many people ask themselves, why do we have varicose veins? Well, constipation is one reason. Hiatus hernia, that is when there is herniation of part of the stomach through the opening that is in the diaphragm upwards. And then it sets up all sorts of problems like acid reflux and all that. And that is important to remember because a lot of people are on antacids, which I will talk about a bit later on. Then it can also lead to diverticulosis. That is when there's ballooning of parts of the gut, the colon, because of straining on stool. And that ballooning causes a lot of stool to be stored, to be stagnant in those balloons. And then eventually it leads to diverticulitis, which means infection of that. And also appendicitis can be put in that category. And then, of course, unhealthy weight gain, which may lead to other diseases and disorders. So the most common causes in modern diets and lifestyle are lack of sufficient fiber and lack of exercise. So let's carry on. That is what can happen, a lot of accumulation of fat. And it is basically, if you can think of accumulation of fat as the body's way of trying to protect you from toxins, because if there is a lot of accumulation in the gut of old stool, then the toxins can be reabsorbed. So the body has to put them somewhere. And that's why people lay down a lot of fat to absorb all those toxins. So when that happens, I just want to touch on a topic of the significance of central adiposity, central fat. It's usually an indicator of what we in the medical field call the metabolic syndrome, which is pre-diabetes and associated with excess insulin, okay? Excess insulin. Now, high blood pressure can also result from chronic inflammation and dangerously high levels of blood fat. In other words, all the cholesterol readings go out of whack, okay? And that can also result in tissue damage and such as the liver and the kidneys. And obviously I've talked about weight gain, which on the surface can also lead to joint damage and poor self-image. So it has far-reaching implications. So a doctor at the Stanford University once wrote that insulin resistance is what we are talking about now, the central adiposity and the meaning of that. And the solution to this problem of insulin resistance is not reducing cholesterol necessarily, but rather keeping blood sugar stable. Now, all these little facts, I want you to put them together as we draw a picture, because I like us to apply what we have, this opportunity that we have, correctly, and not promise people that don't do anything, just take your supplements. No, that's not what we are saying. There is a lot of lifestyle changes that have to happen. So let's talk about fiber. Fiber is required in our diet. Modern diets supply less than 10 grams of fiber daily. And why is fiber needed? Because the muscles of the intestines and the colon require bulk in order to squeeze, in order to actually function, okay? And that sets up the process of normal elimination. Now, the truth is that we need between at least 20 grams or more, okay, of fiber. And if the modern diet only supplies you with 10, no wonder constipation is a problem. Then the other thing I want to talk about is bacteria. Yes, bacteria. Now, the lack of proper bacteria in the gut is a factor that causes constipation. Did you know that? And also, 2/3 of stool volume is fiber, and the other third are microorganisms. Bacteria provide bulk as well, but more importantly, they have a job to do. They break down fiber, that fiber that is you're supposed to have in your diet, into what we call butyrate. It is one of the short chain fatty acids, which is the primary nourishment for cells that line the colon. Now, isn't that very interesting? So any factor that causes, sorry, let me just go back to that one. Any factor that disrupts the gut microbiome, that's the normal healthy bacteria that live there, causes malnutrition of the cells that line the intestine and therefore lead to reduced health. Why? Because over 75% of the immune system, the entire immune system, resides in the gut. Now, I hope you're beginning to see the importance of us looking after our gut. This is just a picture to show how important the gut is, but these are the cells that need to be nourished. And if you're throwing in there all the bad things like antibiotics that kill the bacteria, and a lot of preserved foods, and a lot of other chemicals, and a lot of other drugs like medications, all right? You're going to create problems that lead a healthy gut to become a leaky gut and allow things into the bloodstream, and you have disease processes starting. I don't know who that is that needs to mute. Please mute. I need to see that happens. Okay, right. So let's talk about coordinated activity in the gut. Now listen, this is very, very important. When you eat, hydrochloric acid is released by cells in the stomach, and when you anticipate food or when food is received, okay? And then this signals the initiation of peristalsis, that is the worm-like motion of the digestive tract to actually squeeze on that fiber that hopefully you have in the diet. And then hydrochloric acid is also very important because it also triggers normal secretions of the pancreas, secretions such as insulin, which I have mentioned earlier, and various digestive enzymes, as well as secretions from the gallbladder to help us digest fats, which are needed, and therefore fat-soluble vitamins that can therefore become deficient if this process is not happening. So I hope you're connecting dots with me. I love to connect dots. So what happens if there is insufficient hydrochloric acid in the stomach? The stomach is supposed to have a lot of acid in there. What will happen is constipation. That's what happens. So low secretion of hydrochloric acid results when antacids are overused or used at all. Malnutrition, in other words, nutrition deficiencies. And then, of course, during the aging process. So also, what else happens is malfunctioning of the pancreas and the gallbladder. If you remember, I said hydrochloric acid triggers the secretions from those organs. So this is actually very, very interesting. I hope you're finding it interesting. Constipation, let's talk about nutrition deficiencies. Okay. Right, deficiency of vitamin B5 and magnesium as examples are important vitamins and minerals that are necessary for production of energy. Remember, your gut has muscles. And I found this very interesting to keep remembering, because just as you can have a cramp in your leg muscles, you can also have cramps in your gut muscles, and that can lead to constipation. And those cramps can be as a result of deficiency of vitamins like the B vitamins. B5 specifically is mentioned here, but B complex, and things like minerals. And then remember this, magnesium and vitamin C are actually natural laxatives. So a deficiency of this mineral and this very, very important vitamin that I keep mentioning will lead to constipation, because they naturally are laxative in nature. And then cells lining the gut need to be able to allow nutrients in and waste out, so that they can do the very important work of absorbing nutrients to maintain the health of the rest of the body. So here I am talking about lipids and sterols that you know very well that we have, omega-3, and of course, antioxidants. Those are all required for proper functioning of the cell membranes of those cells. Then let's talk about the importance of drinking enough water. Dehydration causes constipation. Failure to hydrate adequately can result in fiber drying out, causing further constipation. So we often have a lot of people going off and buying high fiber products like bran in boxes and things like that. And then they forget to drink enough water. And so that sets up a spiral of illness. Worse still, if they're not drinking pure water, but are drinking beverages like a lot of caffeinated things and a lot of sodas, and those are all processed and preserved and therefore damage the bacteria in the gut, then we'll have a spiral of illness that is set up. Then, of course, spread your water and your fiber throughout the day. Just a piece of advice. So let's talk about some products. We have aloe vera. I won't dwell too much on it. I want you each to go and look at the characteristics in your notes or online. You can look at online, but here it soothes away stress while energizing and promoting digestive comfort. I find it very, very useful. I've talked about exercise, movement of muscles and the force of gravity during exercise delicately massage the gut, encouraging normal elimination. Now, what risks are there? Yeah, there are several risks, but I want you to remember this one point, that colon cancer is one of the more common cancers. And let us stop being alarmed when it happens and rather apply what we know to prevent it. And this is what you can help your clients with. Slow transit of food through the body allows bacteria in the gut to break down bile acids. And some of the breakdown products include these things here: alcoholic acid and 3-methylcholanthrin. These are among the most powerful natural cancer-causing compounds. They come from your body, and then the bacteria break them down. And because the food is going through the body very, very slowly, a lot of people have constipation, they become cancer-causing. Quite scary stuff, this, but let us apply what we have. So in summary, add fiber to your diet. Consider the possibility of low stomach acid as a cause. So if you're in the habit of using antacids, please stop, okay? Drink adequate water, as we've talked about. Use acidophilus products periodically to replenish healthy gut bacteria. And then supplements are necessary to fill the dietary gaps. I promise you, they are necessary because of what has happened to our food supply. So very quickly, I might actually skip all these. Do we really need to supplement? Well, we've been through the need for vitamin B complex. It turns food into energy. Remember that your cells in the gut need energy. And then vitamins are also critical for our health. We must be able to trust the source, and they must be whole food, and they must be human food as well. So minerals, an example, but let's talk about calcium and magnesium and potassium and zinc. All these are important in multiple enzymes and bodily functions. And so due to modern food growing and processing, we are all deficient. So yes, the answer to that question is, it is important to supplement. And so let's talk about that some more. Those are our core nutrition supplements. Pro Vitality, if you are starting, anybody who is starting supplements, Neolife supplements for the very first time, this is where to start. This and the shake. If they are on a budget, there are ways of doing part of that, okay? Then let me just go on. We have a detox program, and because we are talking about the gut, in it, it has stage 6, which is a laxative in the event of people who need some assistance. We have garlic, which is very important at eliminating the bad bacteria that can overgrow as a result of chronic constipation. We have Acidophilus, which is a probiotic, and Beta-Guard, which helps with detoxification. All those products are in most markets, but I know that in East Africa, Acidophilus is not there. So you can make your own. This is sitting in my kitchen as we speak. It is cabbage. I use a mixture of purple and white cabbage and put some either sea salt or Himalayan salt, and it is called sauerkraut. This has probiotics. It is very, very effective indeed. So you can make your own lactobacilli and other probiotics that can help you. Then, of course, we've talked about Trianen to make sure that the cells in the gut are getting the nutrients themselves. Very critical. They can't nourish you if they themselves are not nourished. Then vitamin B complex, now I'll go quite fast, which can be found in the Daily Vitality Pack. This is a pack that is brilliant for the distributors on the call. This gives you, and for the guests, it gives you vitamin B complex, vitamin C, vitamin E, it gives you multi-mineral, it gives you 2 capsules of Formula 4. So there are 6 things in there, but it is such a good combination and it will address issues of health very nicely. Then we've talked about calculated CalMag. Because of the magnesium in there, it helps with the cramps that can happen in the muscles of the gut that can then lead to constipation. Very interesting. But then we have magnesium, dedicated magnesium, very, very important for that. And then, of course, we have fiber supplements, fiber tablets or all natural fiber for our market here. Unfortunately, it's currently out of stock, but I believe it's coming back very soon. And yeah, look up and see how they work. Then I wanted to mention Cruciferous Plus as something to enhance detoxification systems, since elimination is a very important part of that system, the detoxification system. So as you build your product usage, don't forget these ones for yourselves. Don't wait until people have cancer before you recommend it. Otherwise, Cruciferous Plus is very, very important for hormone-mediated cancers to prevent them, okay? I'm sure it can be useful for somebody who is already in that situation. So please remember, a commonly overlooked cause of constipation in today's world of abundant, convenient, and highly processed foods is malnutrition. That sounds amazing. So we have this little book, which I bought from the Eagle team supply of literature a while ago, called Colon Health. Please, if you can get it, it says the key to a vibrant life is colon health. And you can actually regain the vitality of your youth by looking after your colon. That is the end of our presentation. I hope you have enjoyed it. And thank you all for coming. If you would like to ask any questions or any discussion, you are most welcome.